Hey, hi. Just letting you see me in my full glow here. I've been feeling very withdrawn lately, though that might not look the same for me as it does for other people. Yeah, this is a complicated moon. I know I'm getting this to you late. Some of you probably will just be receiving this as the moon is turning. Some of you will receive it afterwards, but it's a big week, and I think it will be helpful no matter how you receive it. I've been late getting it here because I've been deeply in a self-care process, which is hard to do when you are a caretaker, when you are a content creator, when you are a mom and a grandma. It's hard to take that space for self-care. And this moon is deep, deep, deep about recreating or revamping or rehabilitating your menu for self-care. It's so much about, there's a lot of mother and mothering triggers this week. So, sometimes even doing something for yourself, or even accepting help from others that is quite beautiful and intentional and full of, at least the intention of unconditional love can feel triggering. So, and also knowing, as I always say in these videos, that other people are going through the same new moon that you are. And so other people may be triggered by things that you do and that you don't intend. So just keeping this all in mind as you navigate this. Excuse me. It is a time to focus on what's important to you. Do not feel selfish about that. I think a deep reset is happening, and you might be ultra sensitive. There is, a deep inner striving that is happening for you at this moment, and that may be feel odd or different, even though it is a calling back to the self. It may bring up the unknown, the mystery, and so there's a little bit of a dichotomy there, right? So there is the inner striving, the desire to come home, the desire to mother and be mothered, and for that to feel like a mystery or the unknown. So this is, but this is really exciting because what I think, I've been thinking about this a lot over the weekend, speaking with my daughters, and one of my daughters said the other day, they were talking about a conversation they were having with other parents, and they said, I feel like I'm raising my children under the assumption that something that we have never experienced before will happen in their lifetime. That, who knows if, this is something we don't want to talk about. Who knows if we're going to, they're going to go to college or they're going to have a life that we've experienced. I do believe, particularly knowing my grandchildren, also because of my deep faith, that that they will be ready as long as we prepare them with resilience, tenacity, deep sense of regard for other people, and a closeness to the earth. Anyway, this is a whole larger issue. But I do think that that's part of, so also this week is the Venus Retrograde. It starts on Friday. I am going to be leading a 40-day practice for the whole Venus Retrograde. I'm doing this last minute. It is by donation, and I will, you can write me here if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're one of my aliveness people, it is free unless you want to send another donation. If you're getting this via Instagram, you can just let me know if you want in. Anyway, okay. So this is the thing about Venus retrograde in Leo. It is definitely, Venus retrograde is always about reestablishing your genuine feelings about how you are received by other people. And so how you are seen, how much your truth shines. in order for that to work in a way that you're comfortable, you have to be in alignment with that yourself. So this Cancer new moon is like really setting the stage. You've been feeling the Venus retrograde already. Venus has been in its shadow phase. We will be in Venus retrograde until, the beginning of September, shadow phase into October. So these next bunch of days, 2 months almost, is going to be like bringing you lots of surprises, lots of sneak previews about what's to come, and lots of reruns. You can tell I've been watching a lot of TV. That's how I've been holding it together. Lots of reruns from your past. Be ready for this. Remember yourself. It's a time to write new stories, and that Venus in Leo is like everybody sees your new stories. So you can, if you stay with yourself and don't worry about what other people think, you can learn a lot about how you're seen and received and tweak it. So really stay with yourself. You are, it's a kind of performative month. Leo season always is, but with the Venus, this is the thing about love, and this is the thing about my work and the True Love Project, is that love is a performance, and it is also our truth. And I think because it is a performance in that it is like how we expose ourselves and how we're seen. And sometimes we don't have control of that. We all know this from, that's why I brought up TV before. TV, movies, plays, musical performances. People see you in a certain way, and it may be very different from your intention. So it's a learning process. It doesn't mean that you meet other people's needs, but it is important to see how you translate. On the same day as this is turning into more of a Venus retrograde reading, so anybody that's seeing this, don't worry if you've missed the new moon. The new moon is just really prepping ourselves to see where we're at, deeply emotional time. Today also of the new moon is also the day that the lunar nodes shift into Aries Libra completely. We had a little dip in it a few months ago, but now completely we're not going back. So the lunar nodes shift always very close to a Venus retrograde. They both happen around 18 months. They might not be exact. So I think that's really interesting that we are reviewing our intimacy every time the nodal axis shifts. Now, when the nodal axis shifts, I talk about this a lot, but just to say what it means is where we are hungering for as a culture, and what we need to release as a culture is always on the plate when we're reviewing our intimacy. So what that also means is that we're all reviewing our intimacy in different ways. We're all hungering for something similar in different ways because we have different charts. So, it's like this thing that it's like intimacy, as I always say, love heals, love is the revolution. Love is what moves us forward. And when I talk about, the world not being the same in the future for the children, love will still run that show. That's why we need to be continually checking in with our hearts and looking for not only out for ourselves, but for the highest regard of everyone that we see, everyone we see being God, of course. Reminding ourselves. I do want to say here, just in general, just for the new moon, to come back to that, it's a time to anchor yourself. It's a time to forgive yourself. It's a time to anchor new patterns, particularly around self-care, your home, your inner sanctum emotionally. To notice, there are some secrets that are coming up, of course, talking about those triggers, those love triggers. And in addition to emotions coming to the surface, there is also undisclosed, previous to this time, inner strivings. I think most of that, with this watery moon that loves to be in Cancer, a lot of this is emotional, but we have emotional striving behind our our public presence as well, and our public offerings, whether that's art, career, entrepreneurial. So, these strivings are coming up. It's like where you feel uncomfortable. I know I feel this so much. I love my work. I love being here with all of you. And I have some things about this platform that I've created that I'm really uncomfortable with and I can't get away from right now. It was okay a few months ago. And I'm just waking up with that. So just knowing it could be something very beautiful and true that you made for yourself that you're reevaluating. The last thing I wanted to say about the Venus retrograde, I'm going to be talking more about this. I'm going to be having this devotional practice in the mornings, 40-day practice. So keep your eye out for that. The last two times this particular transit happened is in the late summer of 2007 and the late summer of 2015. And, I would just check in with that and maybe give me a call if you want to look at these patterns in a private session, because I know for myself, my life changed in a huge way, both those summers. Both those summers, I welcomed something into my life that was like a spiritual reorientation that was building on the life I had had up until that point. But my North Star, which I talk about the North Star a lot. My North Star actually shifted. The content, the heart of it was the same, but the direction really shifted both those times. And both those times it had to do with my creative self-expression. Just putting that out there. Something to note. And be in touch with me if you want to walk this Venus journey together. I love you guys. See you soon.